So the last dairy on my road quit milking cows today. Now that might not sound like a big deal, but it really is a huge deal if you're familiar with our area. So then tomorrow will be the first day, probably since the mid 1800s, that nobody's milked a cow on 610th Street in Martell, Ellsworth, and Heartland Townships. Now it's possible that maybe there's a sick cow or something they're gonna have to milk for a day or two. I don't know. I didn't ask. And then occasionally, the last farmer on 610th Street would milk a handful of cows to feed calves, but there hasn't been milk picked up on that farm now in years. And I'm not sure he's even doing that anymore. Ellsworth, Wisconsin was the cheese curd capital of Wisconsin. Wisconsin was America's dairyland. And we've lost so many dairy farms around here, I can't recognize it. Now, you could say we've been losing dairy farms for years, and that would be true. If you go back over the last probably 60 years, we've lost some dairy farms. But it's accelerated. Like, it's really accelerated.
Yeah.
And when I say accelerated,
Not
like
just
the vast majority of those dairy farms that were on our road went out within the last 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while it might not seem like, well, oh well, so there aren't any small dairies around here anymore, the effect that has on the community is astounding. And financially, we're not in an area that's like hurting. Like, our area is pretty affluent generally because of the income from the Twin Cities being really close to us. So you drive around, we have, lots of infrastructure, good schools, the roads are good, people are building new houses, right? So at first glance, you say, well, who cares if that affected the community? But the ag economy around here is really hurt.
In crisis, a line way out the door of the Woods Chapel Baptist Church in Brooklyn as hundreds of farmers from not only northeast Arkansas, but from across the state came to voice their concerns about the current state of farming. Representatives from U.S. Congressman Rick Crawford, U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, and U.S. Senator John Boozman's offices were in attendance to hear those concerns. Among those farmers in attendance was a farmer in Woodruff County, Chris King. He told me this was his 39th harvest, and he has never seen it as bad as this.
And I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
For King, the main problem starts with the fact that they can't sell for profit.
I just would like to see somebody help us get our markets back. We need our exports, and we just need to be paid for what we do, and that's not happening. And we're in
almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year, and it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Today, Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now to make it through this year.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to.
Hi fam, how are you doing? I hope you're doing amazing. Thank you so much for your love, your support. I do appreciate. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. I don't take it for granted. And if you're watching me for the first time, feel free to be part of our family by just subscribing, turn on notification So anytime I upload a new video, you will always be notified that I've uploaded a new video. In this video today, we are going to react to these farmers who feel like some of them feel like giving up. They feel like they are losing it. Nothing is working for them, and they really need solutions for this. We all know farming ain't easy, and without farming, we can't get our foods on the tables. Farming takes the day. Without farming, we will not get what to eat in a day. So we know farmers, we just have to respect them. But American farmers have been so much into it. They feel like we should just give up. They feel like nothing is working for them. Some of them are going bankrupt. So let's continue watching this video till the end so that we can understand more about what I'm talking about the farmers. Then you can come back with more comments. Kindly let me know in the comment section what do you think about this specific video. What do you think about these farmers? Is this something that they wanted for themselves, or is it something that has been happening for years, for decades, and something has to be done? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts, and I'll really appreciate. So let's watch, then come back with more comments.
I was so fucking humbled today, and today opened my eyes about how real this farm crisis is that's going on in America, and how farmers are being affected. And it's a lot, I think, maybe the administration currently. And my jaw is still on the floor from what I seen today. Guys, I went about 400 miles east, and I know I don't have it bad out here in the desert. The government pays us a lot of money to grow corn in the desert. And we're sitting pretty high. And I went east where it rained. And I mean, I saw farmers out there living in dilapidated $600,000 to $800,000 houses. And the fucking vehicles they're having to drive. I mean, most of them are driving 2-year-old fucking pickups that are goddamn near out of fucking warranty, people. And I was talking to this one farmer, God bless his soul, hell of a fucking guy. He's got 2 vacation homes, and he goes, Fran, all I want that 3rd fucking vacation home in Aspen. But with this uncertainty in the farm shit, I can't go out there and buy it. And it really fucking humbled me. It's like, hey, we're getting millions a year out here, and these poor fuckers where it rains, they're struggling. They're having to keep pickups till they hit 65,000 miles, and I got 5 vacation homes and they can only afford 2. And it really makes you, when you go and see somebody else's poor situation, just really opens your fucking eyes on things.
Video on kind of the farming and kind of the crisis going on in row crop farming right now. Things are very hard in row crop farming for a lot of people. All agriculture struggling, really, except for livestock. Cows are pretty good right now, which those guys needed a good money-making time because they've been selling cows too cheap for 10 years. But on the row crop side of things, you see a lot of things about, corn's the same price it was in the 70s and all that. And I just want to say, because I've got mixed feelings on it, not every farmer is in bad shape. There's a lot of people that's been farming the past 20, 25 years, very conservatively, not showing out, not buying, new trucks every year and X9s and all that. And they're kind of sitting in the driver's seat, especially if they're not leveraged very much. Because they can buy some really nice equipment really cheap. And, there's some people that have not managed very well and kept growing, and they're leveraged to the hilt, which is not good when we hit a recession like we have right now. And the human side of me says I hate that for them, because I don't want to see anybody lose their farm or their business. The business side of me says, well, they're kind of getting what they deserved in a way, because you can't just keep going and kicking the can down the road and keep borrowing money and keep piling on debt and expect to farm your way out of it. And the farmer side of me says there's a lot of opportunities for young people right now. And people, you might say, well, that's crazy, as cheap as everything is. Well, a young farmer, when he's getting started out, is not going to make money anyway the first couple years. So if he can find some ground that maybe somebody's given up that shouldn't have been farming it anyway, and he can rent it pretty cheap, and he can find him some cheap equipment, because equipment's relatively cheap right now, and he can struggle through this next 2, 3, 4 years, scrape by, scrap around, and get some stuff paid for, he might be okay on the backside of this thing, because he might pick up a lot more land if things keep going like.
I believe you have watched this video. Now you understand what's going on. Kindly let me know, what do you think? Do you think that this is something that has been affected by all these political things, or do you think a lot of things is contributing to this? We have seen, because we all know mostly farmers are always affected by climate change, you know, like there's a video that I had done before. We could see those ones who are crying, this farmer who had planted corns, the sweet corns, and the farm was flat, totally flat, just because of the heavy rains. And he had also planted some soya beans, and the farm was also flat. Nothing was on that farm, just because of the heavy rains. When they come, they destroy like everything on your farm. So you can see the big loss. These are 100 acres of land. So that is how also most farmers are affected. We saw this young man, this young guy, who just burned his farm down, 100 acres of wheat, because they were on ground, just because of also heavy rains. Everything was on ground. They could not harvest it. So the best way was just to burn everything, then start farming again. So we can see climate change affects farmers a lot. And when it comes to politics, when it comes to politics, you know, government has to support these farmers in a way. You know, they need loans, they need those funds. We know that emergency funds when such things happen, but it happens that you can't get that emergency fund, you can't get those loans. So it's so really hard for them. And like right now, a lot of them feel like in the next coming years, a lot of people, a lot of farmers will be bankrupt, and it's going to be so hard for them. They feel like giving up. Even those ones who own dairy farms, they feel like everything is collapsing for them. People are selling their companies, people are selling their machines, because they can't do it for themselves. Imagine you don't have workers, you don't have enough funds just to support your farm, and you depend on yourself. The government is not there to help you. No one is there to help you. So you're just depending on yourself to fulfill the market, and also to do the right thing for you, to get profits. So it ends up that most of them sell these things at lower prices, not even getting profits. We have seen tomatoes rot in farms because there's no one to collect them, to pick them. They don't have farm workers. A lot of them were immigrants, you know. A lot of these farm workers are immigrants, so they do anything for that money. We all know that, for just survival. So when Trump say that all illegal migrants should be deported back to their countries, it has really affected a lot these farmers, the construction sites, hotels, because we all know these people usually work very hard just to get that money, because they don't have the right papers, they don't have maybe, you know, those degrees. So they'll prefer doing that, and they're so much hard working. So losing them, and you don't have farm, you don't have funds, it's so hectic for farmers. They really don't know what to do. So some of them, at least, they want to come together, find a solution for this. What can we do? We have seen this guy saying that among four farmers, one is going broke. one is going bankrupt or two are going broke. So what is really going to be done, at least for these farmers to raise up again? Because the economy of a country, it depends on agriculture. Agriculture plays the biggest percent in supporting a country's economy. So without agriculture, let me tell you, nothing is going to work to these countries, yeah, because we'll have to import like everything, and everything is going to be so much expensive. So with the Trump putting on all these tariffs, maybe some never understood. We really don't know what happened, because when you see most of these places like Arkansas, Texas, most of them, they voted for this government. So is it that they were not well educated about the tariffs, or what really happened? Did they just vote for their own benefits, that it has turned out that no, this is not what we were expecting? So you know, such things. And so American farmers have been really affected. We just have to pray for them. We pray that things will work for them. We pray that, because they're not only being affected, all Americans are being affected. Because when you go to a grocery shop and to a grocery store and you want some sweet corns and they are not there, or if they are there, the prices are so high because the demand is high and there are no those groceries. So you see, it's affecting also these Americans. So for those who voted for this government and for those who did not vote for the government, all of them are being affected. So this was it. These are just my thoughts. Let me also know your thoughts in the comment section, and let's have a conversation. You know, kindly share this video with your friend, with your family, for more videos like this, you know. And yeah, let's come back to posting like every day. I usually post every day, so just turn on that notification. Anytime I upload, you will be notified. And let me know what you think in the comment section, and subscribe if you have not. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.